What's going on, Eagles Nation? It's your boy Showtime 804. Back at it like we never left. Remember, all of those who have so far, thank you for liking, subscribing, and commenting. For those you haven't, continue to like, comment, subscribe so we can keep growing this thing up. Game day. So we got a game in a couple of minutes now against the New York Giants. Just wanted to go ahead and put out this preview of this game. A little thing I like to call the show plan or the show print, if you have, of ways we can be successful winning this game. First, it's going to start with the coaching staff. Doug, Jim Schwartz, anybody else of importance on that coaching staff. It's football. It's not rocket science. It's not quantum physics. Do what you do well and attack what other teams don't do well. It's as simple as that. If you know we have playmakers, we got a lot of speed on this team, utilize that speed. And that doesn't equate necessarily to mean 50 and 60-yard bombs down the field. Utilize the guys that you have. If you know Fulgham is a guy that can get open quickly, incorporate that into the offense. Give him, some three-step drops with some quick slants, something that can get the guy the ball, have him break a tackle or something. Something that's simple. Run the football. And I know we were been hampered by injuries. And Doug, you can tell sometimes he doesn't want to put players at risk where he only game plans for certain players. And he doesn't really utilize the whole next man up mentality in game. It's only during the season where the next man up mentality comes in. Because you can tell against like the last game with the Cowboys, Boston Scott was rolling. And Doug kind of went away from that because of fear of if something was happening to Boston Scott, what would happen with his game plan. And he's got to get out of that. It's football. Somebody's going to get hurt. The one injury that you can't really bounce back from is your quarterback. And also he knows the dangers that he's facing with that quarterback position, where you can't afford Carson Wentz to get hurt because that's kind of what the fan base wants, or whoever wanted the Jalen Hurts pick to actually come into play. So that plays into that hand. But that's here nor there. We know Carson's our guy, and we're going to continue to roll with him. I know I'm going to continue to roll with him because I'm a firm believer what he brings to the football field. Alshon Jeffrey coming back. We need to slowly integrate him into the offense. Don't have a bunch of plays that's going directly to him, force feed him the ball, because teams are going to key on that because they know that that's pretty much one of Doug's strategies that he likes to do. Guys that he hasn't had in the offense for a while, he kind of sugarcoats and placates towards them and try to, force feed them the football. Just stay away from that. If the game comes to it, then let it be. The Giants, they say they're a top 5 defense in terms of numbers, but they only got 2 wins on the year. So, I mean, how much can you really hold water with that? Be mindful of where Jabril Peppers is on the field at all times. He's getting a knack for, being close to the ball and also taking shots and trying to, take players out of the game. I'm not saying that he's a dirty player, but if the shoe fits, you're going to have to wear that one, buddy. Dallas Goedert. We saw a lot of success with Richard Rodgers against the Giants the last game, and that was with no Dallas Goedert. So just imagine the success Dallas Goedert can get now. He's had a couple of weeks off to really heal from that ankle injury. So I anticipate a big game from him. Him and Miles Sanders. I really think that those two work in the middle of the field is going to create a lot of opportunities for Fulgham and Reagor. Like I said, we can't get happy with the deep ball. If 1 or 2 plays is available for John Hightower, then so be it. We need to do that. I'm going to switch over to the defensive side of the ball. We need our defensive ends to not be as aggressive. They have to remain disciplined. We can't have them, attacking and crashing down on the end so hard because, as you know, we got burned for that 80-yard run from Daniel Jones, and the field monster tripped him up at about the 10-yard line. And this is the problem where we run into when you have inadequate linebackers, because the defensive ends, they're playing hero ball, trying to crash down on the run so hard. You have linebackers to fill up those gaps, those run gaps. And we're not doing that because we didn't have the adequate players at linebacker. With TJ Edwards taking over the mic and Alex Singleton at the strong linebacker, that's the rotation I kind of want to see. as far as if we have to go with those starters, because we're not using Bradley and Taylor for whatever reason. We drafted these guys and they're not seeing the field. But just make it simple for the defensive line. We can destroy their offensive line. It's not very good. I expect Brandon Graham to have another field day this week. And hopefully he can get his double-digit sacks this week, and get 10 on the year. That's the one career goal he's been chasing so far. And Fletcher Cox and Malik Jackson, I anticipate them on handling their business on the middle. Darius Slay's healthy, so we don't really have a pressing need to stop anybody on the outside. He can pretty much lock down Slayton and take him out the game. But just be mindful, like I said, with no Nate Gerry, it's huge for our defense because, like I said, he may be a good football player, but he's not a Mike linebacker. His instincts are terrible. Everyone wants to say, well, he leads the team in tackles, he led the team in tackles, whatever the case is. And that's because he's always a step late to the play. Him being more instinctful can cause the play to go to another direction where the guy's not open, that the quarterback think he is, or, there's a pass breakup. Something of that line, if he does his job correctly, he doesn't have to make a tackle. The ball can go in another direction. But that's here nor there. He's not on the field, so we don't even have to worry about that. The safety play, I'm liking what I'm seeing for Rodney McLeod. Jalen Mills, I'm still not sold of him being a strong safety. He may just need to be like, he should actually be that third rotational safety. But because it's something along with this franchise where they equate the money that you're making kind of warrants you to play on the field. And that's a big problem because Will Parks is actually the better safety. And I think Parks and McLeod are better suited to play the safety positions because they played it longer in the NFL as opposed to what Jalen Mills has been asked to do, and especially in a shortened offseason. Avonte Maddox kind of bothers me on the outside. I really don't see him as an outside corner. I see him more suited in the slot role. Maybe he can take Roby Coleman's spot. Jaquette was a corner. I liked what I saw out of him. I think he is active today. But we need to get him on the field. And I like him playing opposite side of Slay. Special teams. We need some kind of spark, some kind of boost out of our special teams unit. We haven't had a kick return touchdown since Wendell Smallwood in 2016. That was against the Redskins at the time, or now the Washington football team. And that was like week 6 of 2016. The last punt return we've had for a touchdown went in, I want to say week 5 or week 4 against the New York Jets. And that was by Darren Sproles. Greg Ward, I understand why they had him back there returning punts because he was reliable. He was sure-handed. We didn't have to worry about any kind of muff punts or anything like that. He was going to catch it. He was going to fair catch it. And that was it. And a lot of that goes back to my point with Doug Peterson protecting players from injury. He didn't want to risk Greg Ward advancing the football because we were limited with wide receivers. But we need somehow, if our offenses are stalling, we need some way to flip the field position. Having Jalen Reagor back there returning punts enhances that ability where we can move the football. It doesn't have to necessarily go for a touchdown per se, but something that can get us on the other side of the 50. Some kind of long return that sparks the offense. To give our offense a shorter field to have to go through. Every play, every drive, we don't need 80, 75 yards before we're scoring touchdowns. Flip the field. That's what special teams are for. I'm not saying we need to run any kind of trick plays like Dallas ran against Pittsburgh, but we need something to get us some kind of a spark. But this game shouldn't be harder than it needs to be. Like I said, it's just football. Do what needs to be done. This is a first-year coach with no offseason with his team. Doug, you've had your guys in place for the last 4 or 5 years now. You should be able to be better at this. Block out all of the noise from the Brett Favre interviews. protect Carson Wentz. You know, he shouldn't be throwing 40 times a game when you have an adequate running back such as Miles Sanders. You drafted him in the second round. You let go of Jordan Howard to give Miles Sanders, you know, this boost of confidence that you trust in him to be, you know, the running back and to be the workhorse running back, the feature back of this team. You know, you can incorporate Boston Scott here and there, but I don't know. It's just like Doug frustrates me sometimes to no end. It's worse than with Andy Reid. And we shouldn't feel like this. You know, we're on a 2-game winning streak. And you would have thought we lost the last 2 games just because of the way we played. You know, to come back 10 points against this same Giants team, and then to struggle with the Cowboys to have a late defensive touchdown put the game away. Just go out here and do what needs to be done. Just make sure this game is over early. And don't play down to the level of competition, because that's one thing that Doug does. He overlooks teams. And, you know, we got Cleveland next week, but we'll worry about that on Tuesday once, you know, the guys get to Monday off, and then you come back in on Tuesday. Just protect Carson Wentz. He's the franchise quarterback. Everybody, you keep telling everybody he's the franchise quarterback. I know he's the franchise quarterback, but you have to make him feel like he's the franchise quarterback. We don't need to see Jalen Hurts, you know, coming in for a 2-yard gain in the middle of the field. That's not what you need out of the second-round pick. Now, if Howard's trying to outsmart everybody and flip Jalen Hurts, then of course. But don't risk him to get injured. Like, you know, if he has a season-ending injury, knock on wood, that, you know, that kind of puts a damper on that trade stock. So just be smart about what it needs to take care of, and we'll go from there. Let's go out here and get this W, and then we'll head to Cleveland next week. So fly, Eagles, fly, Bird Gang. Let's get out of here and get this dub.